Our next inductee, I am so honored to introduce her. Yes, I said her, as the first woman boxer to be inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, the beautiful Christy Martin. But first, as her presenter, my dear friend, he's also already a member of the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. And last weekend at the Terrence Crawford-Victor Postol fight, the Colonel Bob Sheridan called his 1,000th championship television fight. Let's give it up for the Colonel real quick. All right, Colonel, I'll let you introduce Christy Martin. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And if we could have your attention, because this is a first for the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, in fact, for the Hall of Fame any place. Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter, who actually is a coal miner's daughter. Her mother and dad are here, and her dad, his profession was coal mining in the state of West Virginia. So it's not just a nickname, she truly is the coal miner's, or rather the coal miner's daughter. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce Christy because we became great friends. Christy was a tremendous athlete in West Virginia. She went on to Concord College where she played basketball. Christy once scored 70 points in the first half of a girls' basketball game in college. They had to bench her so that they could make the game interesting in the second half. But I first met Christy when she decided to turn to boxing, and she was signed by Don King, the Hall of Fame promoter. And Don asked me to go to the gym and check out Christy Martin. I went there. It took me 30 seconds to realize she was a pretty good fighter for a girl. It took me about 50 seconds or a minute to understand she was a great fighter for anybody, girl or boy, as she beat up her sparring partners. Then I remember her fight, and I had the thrill of broadcasting almost all of her fights as she fought in the undercard for Mike Tyson and on the great Finito Lopez's boxing cards. That Mike loved her and loved having her on the cards. And Christy fought a girl by the name of Deirdre Gogarty. Deirdre's a big, tall Irish girl with a big jab, and Christy got a bloody nose in the first round. She was bleeding all over the place. By the end of the fight, she had pummeled Deirdre Gogarty in such a manner that it stole the show on a Mike Tyson card. Christy Martin stole the show. As a result of that, the next week, Showtime was so thrilled, Don King was so thrilled, the fans were so thrilled, and Christy got the cover of Sports Illustrated, the first female boxer to do that. And shortly after that, the WBC, because Christy inspired so many female fighters, it was the heyday of female boxing because of Christy Martin. And the WBC, in its infinite wisdom, decided to make a female division for the girls to fight. And Christy became the first WBC world champion to win that coveted green belt and become a world champion. My dear friend and great fighter, I'm thrilled, Christy. You really deserve it. And Canastota will be calling, but the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame is first. My dear friend, Christy Martin. First fighter I ever kissed.
Better be the last. Andy says.
I could just say wow, and really walk away and be done, because as I talked to Shelly Williams last night, I said, who would have ever thought 22 years ago when I fought at the Jim Grand down the street that tonight I would be standing here before you being inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean, wow, what an honor, what an honor. I have to thank God for giving me a wonderful opportunity, blessing my career, but more than that, allowing me to be here with you tonight. For those of you that know my story, you know I'm a survivor, in and out of the ring, and I have to thank God for allowing me to be here to accept this award. I have to thank my mom and dad took them 2 days to get here because their flight kept getting delayed, but they're here. My dad, the coal miner. But the most important thing, when I was growing up, they never told me I couldn't do anything or couldn't be anything that I wanted to do or be. So here I am, world champion, cover of Sports Illustrated, promoted by Don King, a lot of wonderful opportunities. I have to thank my team, Jimmy Maloney, who sparred with me throughout my entire career, Big Jeff Bailey, who a lot of you may remember as Elvis. I lost him a year ago. And obviously that's left a big hole in my team, a big hole in my heart. Those guys were my protectors, my supporters, my sounding boards. They rounded out my team and kept me moving forward at all times. I thank the lates, Dan, Terry, and Diane for all they did to help me move through my career. It's unbelievable, the things they put themselves out to make things easy for me. More than anyone on my team, I have to say thank you to Miguel Diaz. Miguel started out as my cut man in 1996 and ended up as my trainer at the end of my career. But first, because Miguel isn't here with us tonight, he's actually at a world title fight, but I have to say, he was not in my corner the night that they could not stop my nose from bleeding, because, Miguel prides himself that he's always able to stop every cut, every nosebleed. So I don't want anyone to think that he was the one in the corner that couldn't stop that. But thank God they didn't stop it, because it was the most profitable bloody nose in boxing history. But again, back to Miguel. He was the first call that I made when I was in the hospital in November of 2010. Bullet still in my back, many, many stitches in my body. But I called Miguel and said, I want to fight, because that's all I knew how to do, was fight. That's where I felt safe, and that's where I wanted to be. But I had told Sherry, as well as my parents, the only way I would fight was if Miguel would be my trainer. And he did say yes, and actually brokered a deal with me for Top Rank. So Bob Arum allowed me to make my comeback from being shot and stabbed to Top Rank. Obviously, I need to thank Don King for giving me an opportunity that nobody would. No top promoter would ever think about putting a woman on a fight card. Thank Mike Tyson for allowing me to be on his undercards, because he could have easily said, no, I don't want any woman on my shows. Have to give a big, big, huge shout out to the WBC, because as Colonel Bob said, they stood behind me as I was so young in my career and moving forward. They recognized that I loved the sport, I worked hard, and I gave it my all. And so now, these women coming along now they don't have to knock down doors that I had to knock down, and the WBC helped me knock down. They're able to fight for world title fights. I have to give the biggest shout out and biggest thank you to my partner, Sherry Lusk, who unfortunately, she didn't get to ride when the things were really good with my career. She just got to be there after I was shot, stabbed, stroke, broken hand. She was left to put a person back together that had no direction, no idea who they were or what they wanted to do, where they were going with their life. I woke up from having a stroke, couldn't see, couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't feed myself, but she alone helped me through, kept me going, and believed in me. And so she was the one that gave me the energy and the spark to now start my second career in boxing as a promoter. And she already told me not to give a shameless self-plug, but I'm going to. Everybody look out for Pink Promotions, because with Mercedes Vasquez and Pretty Girl, we're coming. Sherry, I love you. Thank you for believing in me. I want to thank everybody in the boxing world, because for so many years I was told that you would turn your back on me if I didn't walk the walk that you expected. Obviously, I've chosen to walk the Christy Salters, Christy Martin path, and that's my own direction. Thank you for not turning your back on me. I love boxing, I love the sport of boxing, and thank you all for all the support you gave me for my career. Thank you.
And to present Christy with her trophy is Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame board member Laura Serrano, who fought Christy to a draw right here in Las Vegas. Laura, thank you. Christy, congratulations.